Hello, welcome to Locked on Sharks, your home for all things Chompy Boys. My name is JD, and one half of the Content Boys, but we brought in a ringer, Seth of Locked on Wild. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing terribly because no, I'm kidding. Doing great. I mean, eighth win in a row for the Wild. We're going to dive into it here, but on a night in which the Minnesota Vikings almost found a way to blow a 29-point lead, the Wilds gave up
Almost blew
two
a
goals.
three.
Didn't
Yeah.
quite blow up the lead, so I'm glad they learned from the lesson that the Vikings almost taught them.
The Sharks couldn't find any offense, but yeah, we'll dig into this game here in just a second. Enjoy our show music today, Seth.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Little funky, right?
It's funky with it. I like that.
It's a little jarring when you hear other hosts, like you go on other shows and you hear their music and it's not yours for a second. You're like, what is going on here? Yeah.
Did I
So
press the wrong button?
yeah. But yeah, so the Sharks lost 5-2. In a game which I don't know, it was like the first two periods, it was just all wild. They did whatever they want. They did a great job of shutting down the Sharks offense and not getting like those grade A chances. And then in the third period, the Sharks, they brought out the line blender. Tomas Hertl took his rightful spot on the top line with Dahlin and Meyer. And the Sharks found a bunch of offense, but they just weren't able to scratch out enough goals there to catch up. So the Wild, they're a great team, and like you can't go down 3-0 against the Wild, can you, Seth?
No, and it's been so funny pretty much all season long. We've got these three puzzle pieces where it seems like the Wild have two good periods, and they have a period in which the other team, as we saw tonight, is able to kind of get back into the game. Now, early in the season, it was other teams really good period one. Wilds 2 and 3, and they get comeback wins a bunch. And now we're seeing like the Wild win period one, other team maybe wins period two or wins period three, but it's I think it's just a really good indicator as to just how far this team has come from even the last 2 or 3 years, in that I don't know that they win a bunch of those games early on in the season where they have to try to come back. And this year they did. And now we're seeing them get to where they can hold a lead. And I mean, no consequence that they're on an 8-game winning streak and a 9-game point streak, because they're playing some really good hockey right now. And it makes it really tough on your opponents, no matter if you're playing Edmonton or Arizona. If you get out to an early lead, that puts so much pressure on the other team to try to come back. And as we saw tonight, you often run out of time trying to complete that comeback.
Yeah, and that's been the Sharks' MO too, is especially because like the Sharks and Wild are just their whole offense is very different. Where the Wild are just they're gonna keep shooting, and they usually outshoot their opponents. They're gonna give up a ton of shots, but they're going to just run you out the building. While the Sharks have been a much more like we're gonna go for the quality over quantity, and usually if they get that early lead, their defense has been much better this year, where they can kind of hold it down and they try to keep it, keep it clean for Reimer or Hill. But this team, like with the Sharks, where they just don't have the pieces to be able to continue to come dig themselves out of these leads. And I thought Hill tonight was okay. That third goal was definitely not a goal that he probably wanted to keep. So he's been having trouble with that glove hand, and again, the Wild took advantage of that. But he did make a couple of saves when he needed to. But again, we would really probably prefer to have seen James Reimer tonight, but he's been we're assuming he has the poops for the past week, so he's hopefully will be back for the Stars game on Saturday. But it's like with Hill, where it's we've getting this roller coaster with him, where it's like for even period to period, where he'll be amazing one period and then just let him in, or Yeah, it's just if you're going to play that type of game where you're try to play sound defense, you need to have sound goaltending, and Hill just wasn't sound tonight.
Yeah, and on the flip side with Cam Talbot, he has been really good over the course of this winning streak, and he's now on a 6-game winning streak himself. And a stat that was brought up in the game against the Oilers that I thought was really fascinating, because I think we've seen this be the reason that the Wild early on in the season were giving up as many goals as they were. The Wilds have the fewest shot attempts in the NHL on rebounds in the entire NHL, which tells me that, over the last, we'll say 9 games, but it's been a little bit longer than that. Over that span, Cam Talbot has been able to handle the pucks a lot better. And if he isn't able to, the defense, Brodin, Spurgeon, Merrill, Kulikov, whoever it may be, the defense is doing a good job of picking up the puck and getting it out from in front of the net, which, we did see it tonight in there was the power play goal, the second.
The hurdle goal was a rebound goal, and that hurdle's going to kill that every time. So,
and that's been the thing that has been kind of the Achilles heel for the Wild this year, is that there have been some times where Talbot can't quite handle the first shot attempts, and it just takes, a weird bounce to a fortuitous spot, and the other team's able to cash in. And so happens tonight, but didn't end up being anything that the Wild couldn't overcome. And over the last 2-3 weeks, they've been really good in that area. So had a lot of Wild fans on Twitter who within the first couple weeks of the season were saying, maybe we need to do something, try to find somebody other than Cam Talbot, but he has really picked up his pace over the last probably 12 or 15 games.
Yeah, and we saw even the first goal that Hill gave up was a rebound Hill that was perfectly placed, and like sometimes those goals do happen, but yeah, that's one where it's like you would have rather have seen Hill like eat the puck there, and that's something that he struggled with too, is those rebounds or just icing the puck and letting the Wild continue to have momentum in the offensive zone, and that's something where like for Adin Hill, if he wants to kind of take his job back from Reimer when Reimer's back, he needs to clean that stuff up, because Hill would have probably have saved that or at least stopped the rebound. So, but before we go on, I know the Sharks have a big game against the Stars this weekend. The Wild, who do they have up next?
So for the Wilds, they continue what is just a meat grinder of a week. The 4-game swing on the West Coast. The Wild will actually play the Los Angeles Kings on Saturday, and then they finish up with the Vegas Golden Knights on Sunday. So West Coast starts for me all week. Let's go.
Yeah, so they're probably going to need to kind of, get that energy back. And you know what I would reach for? I'd reach for a Built Bar.
Oh.
So Built Bar, I know it's the holiday season. Sometimes you get a little, worried about like all the desserts and all the extra food you're reaching for, or sometimes you just get tired from all the like shopping and all the holiday stuff you got to do, dragging the kids around to go see lights and all that stuff. And sometimes you just need that little snack to get you through the day. And that's where Built Bar comes in. They have so many flavors like raspberry, mint brownie, cherry, double chocolate, cookies and cream, peanut butter brownie. My personal favorite, I like the coconut and the cherry barcia. But they give you extra fuel you need without all the calories. So that's why Built Bar is the place to go. Head over to built.com. Use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your next order. Again, use the promo code LOCKED15. Get 15% off at built.com.
JD, I don't know about you, but I have been hearing a lot about Stance recently. It might have something to do with the fact that they just launched a new line of active apparel, and Christmas is coming up. I know somebody in your family is one of those people that has those socks they've had for like 15 years with the hole in the toe that you just keep going back and back to. Well, Stance has you covered, because not only do they have a very comfortable line of socks, shirts, joggers, hoodies, etc., they also have sweet themed items. Some of the themes include The Goonies, Star Wars, The Office, Harry Potter, Disney, Marvel, Batman, Major League Baseball, the NHL. So if you are looking for a great gift to give that special someone in your life, look no further than Stance Apparel. Stance believes that the perfect fit matters more than fitting in, that those who feel good do good. Go see for yourself. Register for an account at stance.com and get 15% off of your purchase. Use promo code Locked On at checkout to apply. Enjoy the color and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance.
So I think the big difference between the Sharks and the Wild tonight was, I think, the special teams, right? And that was like Kyle and I talked about this, where the Sharks coming off of the Calgary game, where their special teams was perfect. They scored two. They were 2 for 2 on the power play, and they kept Calgary off. And the Wild's power play hasn't been very prolific this year, so this is where we thought the Sharks would definitely have an advantage. But you give up two goals, and that kind of ends up being the difference with the game right there, right?
Yeah, I think so. And it's crazy to me that you can have a team who is like 28th in the power play coming into this game. And you look at it and you're like, it hasn't really hurt them per se. I mean, if, let's say, for example, if the Wild would have lost to Edmonton, I would have been able to point right at a 5-on-3 that the Wild had that they didn't score on as a potential spot that, well, if they lose this game, that's why. But this team's been they've been so good in 5-on-5 situations all season long, so that, when power play opportunities come up and they don't score, you're like, they'll just get a goal.
I don't need those. Whatever.
Yeah, they'll just get a goal when the opposing player comes off the bench anyway. But tonight, I think we're going to start to hopefully see the numbers even out a little bit for this Wild team. And Kevin Fiala, who has been as unlucky as any player in the NHL all season, he has more post hits than post serial does this season. And it's just post after post after post after post. Got his pointless streak snapped tonight. And it's just one of those things where another way that this team found a way to win, this time courtesy of a really nice power play.
Yeah, and the Sharks' penalty kill has been really good this season. But yeah, you could just see those slot passes and the Sharks just had no answer. And then Jacob superstar Middleton, who's we've definitely turned around on before coming into this season, and he's been very good. Just had a brutal night with the 3 penalties getting called, and that happens sometimes, and you're going to have those nights. But yeah, that's where you like to see the defense, the penalty kill try to pick you up there. But and then like the Sharks kind of had some wasted opportunities. I'd say that second power play was definitely not their best power play for the Sharks, where it was just the Wild did a really good job of keeping the Sharks. Every time they tried to get set up, they would break it up, and and the Sharks just had trouble sustaining offense, whether it was on the power play or on 5-on-5 all night or at least through the first 2 periods. And yeah, I think that was the difference. And, we knew the game plan was going to be the Sharks are going to just have to hold on 5-on-5 and then try to do something on the special teams. And you can't lose the 5-on-5 battle and lose the special teams battle and expect to win. So.
Yeah, one of the things that I was interested in as well in watching was Jared Spurgeon's return to the ice. Obviously, somehow the Wild rattled off 7 straight wins without him, which is crazy. And he comes back.
Alert.
I mean, you'd think that they would have a little bit of a drop in production, but evidently not. And the thing that I enjoy so much in just watching is how much of a pest Spurgeon and Brodin are, and how easily they pursue opposing players with the puck. And whether it be Spurgeon or Brodin, they just have such a knack to push people off of the route that they're intending to go and detour them from passing or trying to get a shot off on net. And so that was really fun to see that back for the Wild tonight, because as good as Jordy Ben has been filling in, you're not going to probably get that for an entire season's worth of play. So great to have Spurgeon back, and it's just fun to watch those two hounds just go nuts, trying to track down opposing players. They were on their A game tonight.
Yeah, and you saw that too, where like through the first two periods, the Sharks had 2 high danger chances, like on 5-on-5, and that's because like they just literally couldn't get anything established in front of the net there, and that's where the Sharks have been able to make their hay all season is getting, if you're not gonna have a lot of chances, you need to have those quality chances, and the Sharks just unable to get that going until the third period, and then you saw the heat map finally explode there. But I mean, it was just brutal where they, and even the whole offense too in the first two periods. I felt like if Timo Meier wasn't providing any sort of offensive spark, there just wasn't anything. And Timo's been a beast this year, and just the way he's been able to kind of put the team on his back when he needs to, and just drive to the net, and it doesn't matter who's there, he's just going to take that guy on. But yeah, it was just tough where it was just like Timo's doing everything he can, and then the next line rolls out and it's nothing happens, and then nothing happens, then nothing happens, and then okay, Timo's out again, and let's try to get some offense here again. So
yeah, it's just the juggernaut team, 8-0-1, most points in the NHL somehow.
Should be first in the power rankings, maybe.
I keep trying.
You keep
trying to get them there. I'm trying to will them to the top.
If you're like me and maybe a little bit of a degenerate, and you wanted to bet on if the Wild could be first on your power rankings, Seth, where would you go to?
If I was to bet, I would probably take my talents to betonline.ag.
Of course, because they've got you covered for all props and odds and lines that they've had ever before. As football season continues the march to the playoffs, Seth and I both fans of heartbreaking teams. BetOnline remains your number one spot for all sports action this season. So head over to their new updated desktop or mobile website to sign up today. Receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games, don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on your favorite sports. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Quick side note. I don't know if there is a roller coaster as much as there is live betting a Minnesota Vikings game.
Oh, there is. You could not pay me to bet on the. Yeah. I did. So Kyle and I are actually facing each other in fantasy this week. I have Dalvin Cook.
Ooh.
I started Dalvin Cook even though he was a little banged up. Great decision by me to start Dalvin Cook. So in another league, I started Ben Roethlisberger because I had Jalen Hurts on bye. Little worried, but that second half. So
feeling fine in the second half.
So yes, I should defeat Kyle pretty handily this week and take number 2 spot in our 16-team league. So I'm very excited to beat him. But what would you say is your kind of big takeaway from this game to kind of wrap it up? And then we will get to Seth is going to fill in for our 3 fries of the week, Seth. So yes, not stars. We do fries around here.
I like that. I think my biggest pull from this game is that we may have finally gotten to the start of the next Kevin Fiala hot streak. He has far and away had way too good of a season to only be stuck on 4 goals so far this year. And if I know anything about Kevin Fiala's scoring over the last couple of seasons, they come in bunches. And so a goal tonight, does he score on Saturday? Does he score on Sunday? I'm going to say 4 games in a row for Kevin Fiala with a goal starting tonight.
Sounds good. Yeah, I mean, we saw that with Tomas Hertl, who had like a 6-game streak where he didn't score, and now he's scored 6 goals in the past 3 games. So sometimes when that first one goes in and it's just that weight comes off, and then all of a sudden they start going, But I think my big takeaway is the Sharks, they need to find a way to get their offense going. You can't wait till that third period and just be like, let's flip around some lines and stuff like that. I think the Sharks have been pretty steady with their like top 9, I think that right now it might be time to flip some guys. And I think it starts with that Hurdle. Hurdle needs to take that spot from Couture. And you saw they flipped it a little bit, against Calgary, and they scored a goal right away. They flipped it tonight. Dahlin scores a goal right away off a nice deflection from Erik Karlsson. And Hurdle's just a better player than Couture is right now. And I think we need to see that line that line needs to produce. And, and even LeBanc, who's been on the fourth line, he played pretty well tonight after getting scratched. Maybe try him on that second line with Couture. We've seen LeBanc Couture have chemistry in the past. So I think they're probably going to be a lot of line juggling going into the Dallas game on Saturday. And please, James Reimer, come back. So, all right, Seth. So our 3 fries of the week, it's just like 3 stars, but it's a long running joke on the Locked On Sharks podcast of that started about In-N-Out fries. Anyway, first of all, what are your 3 favorite fries? So I know you have your crazy Midwest fries, your Cullivers and all that stuff over there.
This is a great question. Well, I think my top, I'm gonna go off board slightly. I'm going with the Chick-fil-A waffle fries.
Those are so good. Yes.
That's my top.
With the Chick-fil-A sauce, you have to.
Yes. That's a must. After that, I think I'm going to go Raising Cane's as my second.
Good choice.
And I'm going to go, it's been an eternity since I've had them. But I'm going to go with Wendy's because as long as a Frosty is included.
You get the Frosty with it. Yes. All right. That's a solid. I'll give you that. Now you're definitely a little bit off the board with those, but those are solid. I can't disagree with those. So, all right. Who is your third star of the week?
Third star of the week, I'm going to go with Kirill Kaprizov, who continues his point streak after the slow start.
Yeah, he was like 30 points now.
Yeah, he's been just insane over the last probably 15 games. I think, in fact, he has something like 30 points in his last 15 games, or just some absurd number like that. And had a couple of goals, had the empty netter tonight to finish off the scoring. And so I'm going to go Kirill Kaprizov, star number 3.
I'm going to go a little off the board here. I'm going to give it to the Arizona Coyotes because they're just like us and they forget to pay their bills sometimes. And, it happens to the best of us. It's the holidays. You got to buy your gifts. I'm sure you got to buy gifts for all the people who work there. And you just, you forget about that credit card bill sometimes. Then you get the mail the next month and you're like, I'm an idiot. So the Coyotes, they're just like us.
My not paying my last phone bill was a clerical error.
Yes. So auto pay, Coyotes. It's, All right. Who's your second star of the week?
Bruce Boudreau. The Vancouver Canucks have figured out again how to win, and Bruce Boudreau provided the soundbite of the week. The Wild were staying in Vancouver, and there was a fire alarm pulled. I think both teams are staying at the same hotel. There was a fire alarm pulled. Boudreau heard it. He was on like the 15th floor, and he said, and I quote, "I don't smell smoke. There's no way I'm going down 15 flights of stairs. I'm going to chance it."
That's amazing. You could see like the building burning down and him just walking out of the ashes like nothing happened. Yes.
Yeah, he's like, I'm
whatever.
I'm fine.
Yeah. My second star of the week, Erik Karlsson. That man, he's so good right now. And I think we're going to start to hear a little bit of the Norris chatter for Erik Karlsson coming up soon, because what he's doing right now, you could argue it's the best that we've seen him in San Jose, at least since his groin injury. Just the way he provides the offense, and he's been, between him and Timo, he has been the engines for the Sharks right now. And he cut his hair, he gained the power of Ragnarok, and he's just been on fire.
For the first star of the week for me, I'm going Cam Talbot. In his last 6 starts, he He has given up 11 total goals, and those have come against the likes of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Tampa Bay
They're good.
Lightning,
They're
the
good.
Edmonton Oilers.
Pretty good.
Pretty good teams. And tonight's game against the San Jose Sharks, 2 goals allowed on the night. And so,
They're
Cam
pretty
Talbot,
mediocre.
I tip my cap to thee for just continuing to get it done, solidifying that goalie spot that people were worried about at the start of the season.
My number one star, it's Tomas Hertl. He's having fun again. There was the he during his scoreless streak where he just didn't look like he was having fun. Kind of looked upset. But yeah, like I said earlier, you finally get that first goal, and then just a weight comes off. And scoring 6 goals in 3 games is that's pretty nice. So yeah, I expect Hertl to continue keeping it going because especially if he gets to play with Dahlin and Timo, and that would be great. And we could just watch Hertl burn down the league for a little while. So, and no, he's not coming to the Wild. I know. I've already been getting it on Twitter. So yes, you're getting in line. There's a lot of people who want Tomas Hertl services.
Well, and and I'm gonna go full episode on this notion coming up soon, because I just had a friend ask me about this tonight. And yes, I'm gonna say on record, I would love for the Wild to make a big time acquisition to further what is clearly a legitimate run that they're going to go on this season. But at the same time, I'm at the point where I'm like, who are you pulling out of the? I mean, obviously, if they get a top line center, they're gonna make some roster moves. But like this team, as they're currently constructed, they just continue to get it done.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, having that because like when the Sharks made their run, that was their thing, was when you had Couture, who was like at his peak, you had Hertl, and then you had Joe Thornton, if Joe Thornton's your third line center and he's still putting up a point per game at the age of 36, like those are how those championship teams are won, or that having that middle where you can't, there's no easy shifts against those middles. But I think this will be, as we get close to the trade deadline, this will be fun. I think we'll have to have people come on and pitch their best Tomas Hertl package. So,
ooh,
yeah, you can start with the first or Marco Rossi, and then we'll talk. So, because if not, I'm going straight to the Avs and saying I want that new Hook kid. So, yes.
Oh boy, we can't let that happen.
Nope. All right, Seth, thank you for joining us. Where can the people find you and all your great work?
Follow Locked on Wilds wherever you listen to podcasts. We're active on social media and gearing up for some new things coming in 2022. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the YouTube channel as well. And you can follow me at Seth Topes. I am extremely active during Wild game days
and Viking games,
and also trashing the Vikings like it's my day job. So enjoy the tweets. Make sure to hang out with us. Also, going to have a mailbag episode coming up here soon. So make sure to head over to the Locked on Wild YouTube page to get in on that.
Nice. You can, of course, find us with our Locked On Sharks on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I know you like the banners. I assume I'm going to see the banners on the Locked On Wild YouTube here real soon. So, yeah, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, where I'm posting all of our stuff. Twitter, we're the most active, and we shit post nonstop because that's what we do. You can follow me at my fry hole. Kyle, who's off on a date with the Aussie, is at Kyle Demetrius. Thank you for making us your first listen. Go check out Locked On Bets. Check out Locked On Stars if you want to get caught up. So Dane does a good job. And we'll catch you guys on Monday. Bye, friends.